Okay, so I am here at Redemption Lutheran Church in Jacmel with Pastor Holand and Jarrell Cart, Seeds of Support, interpreter, trip coordinator, and friend.
My name is Joel. I'm glad to be here. Let me translate for Pastor Holand what you just said. Et il dit qu'on s'allie là avec en tant que c'est pasteur Peter, il a en tant que membre responsable Seeds of Support et bien avec vous-même et moi-même comme interprète.
And I have invited Pastor Holand to share some history of the congregation here in the community, how it began, and its people who live in the community as well, who they are. And what they do.
Il dit comme ça, et il va poser question comment que l'église a commencé dans la communauté et les gens qui vivent là-dedans, comment ça a été, en détail sur ça.
Bon, pour que nous soyons capables d'arriver dans la communauté, moi j'étais entré dans Jacmel parce que je suis vu Port-au-Prince, et je suis descendu Péredo. J'ai commencé l'église là, dans Péredo, avec un petit monde et jeune. Et j'ai commencé à faire l'école pour eux de façon que j'étais capable de former. Mais finalement, que nous pas capable de continuer Péredo, eh bien, nous mettais une campagne d'évangélisation avec un moyen que j'ai gagné. Et puis tout, Pasteur Livingston était bon moi support pour que j'étais capable d'arriver à faire travail ça jusqu'à ce que j'arrive dans la communauté, bon, ici à même côté nous là.
I guess he says to start this ministry here, he used to live in Port-au-Prince, but at the beginning he moved to Peredo, a different location from here, where he started the church with children, and then but he couldn't continue to run the church over there, so he moved here through evangelization, so that he can motivate people to start a church here. And then with Pastor Livingston's support, that he became, the pastor here to start this ministry.
Mm-hmm. Tell us, Pastor, a little bit more about the people who live in the community here that you were called in your evangelization.
He says when he first came here, this place was like a desert. There was nobody wanted to live here because there was nobody live here really. But with a few people that he found, he was meeting with them for 3 months, and after 3 months, he started the church under a tree. So finally, when he started the church, and then when he was telling them the doctrine about the Lutheran doctrine, and then most of them, they ran away. They didn't want to hear him. But some of them stayed, and then some of them, they left. But sometimes they come to visit, but not really come to be part of the church. So that was a challenge for him, to present the Lutheran doctrine. He says to start the church in Jacmel, that was one of the dates very remarkable, like October 31st. But that was in the other location. But for here, the church started on June 3rd. Unfortunately, when the team will be here, it will be already past. So he would love for you to be here because they are making preparations so that they can celebrate the date that they began the church here.
That's right. Our mission trip in June doesn't arrive until the 23rd of June, and so the festivities would be before that. How many years has the congregation, what is the anniversary it will be celebrating?
It says just because they started in June 2012, but not the exact festivity that they are going to do for the just to celebrate the anniversary, but it will be part of the anniversary that will come in the future.
Okay. So Remember for me, Pastor, what it was like when Seeds of Support came to visit for the first time with Pastor Livingston, with Pastor Lilliard from St. Andrew, when they came to visit. Do you remember those days?
So when he, as a result, when Seeds of Support came for the first time, and he told people before he's going to bring people from America, from Port-au-Prince, to visit. And then they didn't believe him until they see Seeds of Support comes and meet with them. And then that was amazing, and that's bring lots of enthusiasm so that people can continue to follow what he's doing. Because when they see Seeds of Support, they see development, they see hope with him being running the church in this community.
I see. So what are the important achievements that have been made in the partnership with Seeds of Support and the congregation with respect to development of the community?
He says, first of all, we should consider worship under the tree. Thanks be to Seeds of Support. We had the blue roof down there. That's make a huge difference. At the same time, we had clinic for the people, and that create a very big ambience for other people in the community. And even if it was two groups at the time, because there was one from Florida came too at that time, and then that was one of the achievements. As I told you before, when I came here, this place was like a desert where there was no food, there was no water. And then when Seeds of Support came, and then after the facility for worship, they drilled the well where water could flow. That was another big achievement for the community that would motivate people to come to live here right after the well is been done. So just like we had the sermon yesterday about the fig tree did not bear fruit, and then when he came here, he found many trees that didn't bear any fruit too. And then unfortunately he cut them off, and then he planted new tree, and especially the banana tree, where he could transform this place as a living place. And then that attract even the police officer from the city. They took 2 pickup trucks, come up here and see what's going on here. And then from that, many of them, they buy land up here so that they can live here, and they send their families to come and buy land here. Because at the beginning, there was nothing really here. When you see, like, when you talk about farming, they did not have that. So just because of the water, that's bringing life to this community. He says, with all these people who comes here to live, and that's bringing hope in this community. And from there, we had the bakery for this community. That is very helpful for the community because they have to go far away to get bread, so they can get it there. And then this is a continuing development for this community. With Seeds of Support presence here, that's bringing a lot of changes. The land become very expensive, and they're almost gone. Everybody just buy a piece. Even if you don't see them building their houses they have there, but they own it already. And he says, at the beginning, even if they see the water flow and the church began, but they did not build. When we were building at the bakery foundation, they did not think it could be possible. But now when they see they can buy bread here, they see here as a place where they can identify good things happen. And he said there's a man in this community named the water as miracle water because nobody would think that would be possible on the top of the mountain. As you know, when we start produce bread here, and then that's create jobs for people, what we did not have in the past. So this is what we call development. So we see it as the beginning. Until now, we still see it as the beginning, but we hope the future will be even bigger.
What do you think are some of the ongoing challenges that exist here in the community and in Haiti that are challenging for you?
The challenge now, we all know Haiti has problems, and we understand none of us would like to have a country like that. But when you look at the type of the government that we have, we cannot say the people is guilty. We cannot put the blame on the people because the people is not doing it itself. So it just the government makes it happen like that. That would be the challenge we would all have to continue. But we also know, so everything is possible with God. So we're counting like the challenge will not be a challenge as soon as we rely on God to continue our ministry.
I want to talk a little bit about how God works to bring hope here in the community. If you, Pastor, would think of the best Bible passage or story from the Bible that illustrates what the people here are experiencing, what would that be?
Our responsibility is to do the Great Commission to the people, and then announce them, just like Ezekiel has to run the bell so that people know evil comes. So, and if we do not ring the bell, it will be our responsibility. So he's here to ring the bell so that people know how to protect themselves.
Okay.
He says we would like to use the Bible passage from Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 1 to verse 1 to 6.
1 to 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ezekiel 33.
33,
Yes.
1 to 6.
Yeah,
okay.
6, yeah.
So where is God going now for the Redemption Lutheran Church and for the community as we look into the future, Pastor?
He says, we know God's plans is big. We don't always know God's plan for us. But in the future, we understand that we can rely on God for like education, and then this is something that started with Sisters of Support already support us doing education for the people, like the computer school, and then now we have the cosmetology and then the electricity, and then this is part of our education. We plan to have a school here. But we know in the future maybe God will take us where we want to be. He says beside education, we would see in the future with Sisters of Support help agriculture, because we understand that when we consider Venezuela, that make a gift to Haiti so that they can fix some problems, and then but unfortunately the government doesn't use that funds, just to do the right thing. And then
who gave those gifts?
Venezuela. And then just because they are using, let me just rephrase that. they give us the gas with a low price and with the benefit, so we can use it for the country development. And then he said the government doesn't use that to do the right thing. So that creates more problem now. He says with season support help, they would like to see agriculture as part of one of the very important thing too in the future, because God wants us to do justice, and even we relate the passage in the Bible where it says our justice should be above of the Pharisees' justice. So he says we would like to see agriculture in the future with seeds of support.
So do you have any final comments to make, Pastor?
He says he's one of the pastors. He's not the clergy of the church. I don't know how he understands that, but I'm just translating what he says. He says if there is something that we are doing, he cannot take all decisions, but maybe sometimes the decision has to take by the clergy of the church. So I repeat what he says. And then for now he can only say something for this church particularly. Accomplished together. When you look at from retreat to the facility and from the facility to the church, and you see from the water to the bakery, and then now computer school, he says he believes that God would bless you more than he used to be in the past. And then he said we hope to continue to do the ministry together, and then as an encouragement, he says the blessing is more for you.
Well, Pastor, thank you for the time here this morning to talk more about our history and our partnership. It is true, very true, as you say, that we receive in our partnership so much encouragement, how God is working, how we can help to not only bring hope in the world, but see hope in our world developing. So we will continue in our prayers and in our partnership to ask God's blessings upon our shared work together, and look forward to what is on the horizon. So thank you for the time.
He says we will continue to the Redemption Lutheran Church will continue to pray for St. Andrew's Lutheran Church, not only for the people who comes in a mission trip, but the whole church, because we understand we have people in Minnesota never comes here, but they contribute to make all these accomplishments, all these achievements to happen, and then we hope we all have the same hope, is to be part of the God's family when His kingdom comes. So for that, we continue to pray for the whole church.
Thank you, Pastor Holand.
Merci, Pastor.
Okay, merci to Pastor.
And thank you, Pastor Leader.